everybody, welcome to another episode of Creators Outlet. I'm just waiting for our special guest tonight, Nate Owsley, from the creator of Slab Stands. I actually have a slab stand, but I am surrounded by stuff all around me and would literally have no place to put it. I did an unboxing yesterday, and I didn't put anything away, and I had doctor's appointments today, so if you're in the chat, give a big hi-ho. We're going to talk a whole bunch of geek stuff tonight. A little Batman cappuccino here. It's not cappuccinos. I have no idea how to make a cappuccino. But it's coffee. I got enough coffee to last me, I don't know, until next week. Like 6 pounds. So, you know. And anybody that bought me coffee for Christmas, don't worry. I will gladly take that. And I look a hot mess. I haven't shaved in days, but luckily, and I do say luckily, my order from Dr. Squatch came in today, because it was half price. I got their like super expensive shaving kit, so it's like the old school shaving kit, so I'm happy about that. Oh, apparently we've got a slight delay with our guest. Apparently he owns Apple products, and StreamYard doesn't work on his Mac, so he has to download Chrome. So he's downloading Chrome right now. So as he's downloading Chrome, hey, Don Dizzle, how are you, sir? Happy holidays. Happy coffee. Nate is currently downloading Chrome onto his MacBook, so he can actually join us. He will be here shortly. I found this digging around. Smiley the Psychotic Button vinyl stickers. I was going to say decals, but it says stickers right at the top. This is old. This is from Chaos Comics back when you know, that was all with Lady Death and all that was there. LOL, testing. Well, Pops, I'm not in your boxes this time. Oh, you want this? You want some Smiley action? I'll hook you up, Pops, because I have the three-dimensional Smiley button. It should be on my leather jacket over in the corner, the one that sent me to the hospital a couple days ago. So yeah, I got all kinds of cool stuff sitting around here. Like there's some '89 Batman stuff, and I dug this out of a box of storage. I'm just showing stuff off until Nate gets here. Here's a loot crate. I am Groot glow in the dark. I've been hearing a lot of rumors that in the upcoming Thor movies, they're talking about the possibility of Groot actually becoming a Thor. So they're talking Hickman's Thor Corps from his huge miniseries, on top of miniseries run of his version of Secret Wars a few years back. Got a Kingdom Come Dead Man staring at you. So as soon as Nate gets in here, we will start talking slab stands. So until then, if anybody wants to talk about anything, let me know. I'll have you come in. Matter of fact, Pops, if you want to come in and there he is.
Here. What's up?
You and your damn fancy MacBook stuff.
Man, I tell you, I don't think about having to download all the stuff anymore.
But cheers, happy holidays.
And you as well, sir.
Yeah, and I wanted to get you, now that I'm doing the podcasty thing instead of the typey thing. I wanted to get you on and show off some of the stuff. I've got mine, but one is way over in the corner over here. Holding up my Pirello Vampirella versus Reanimator #1 9.8. And the other one is out yonder on the kitchen counter, holding up a what's on there now? Oh yeah, a Green Lantern #1 from Italy.
From Italy, nice.
So these are very cool. I wanted to bring these to the audience because you've been working on more and more and more stuff.
I have been doing these. I started. It'll be 2 years ago in January, so it's been a while.
Yeah, you've been making some funky stuff. You even do magazine stands now for the conventions and and you started doing pop stands.
Yeah, Funko Pops. We've got frames that we make, wall mounts. I do custom stuff. Just anything you can think of.
And all of them are kind of custom because whatever character you want on there, or special logo or anything, you guys get it on there. And you even have had some special edition artist signings too.
Yeah. We our current one right now, we've got one out to Alan Kwa, and those are in Malaysia right now with him. But the COVID stuff has got all the shipping shut down, so he can't send them back to me at the moment. So that's kind of frustrating. And then we've got one for Joe Rubenstein that is those are sent off in Joe's hands. And so, yeah, every now and then we try to reach out to an artist, have them sketch on the front and sign it and send it back. So it's kind of like you can still get a sketch at a much cheaper price than it might be trying to get one on a book and send in for grading.
Yeah, I know some of the remarks are like, depending on the artist, can go up to like, hundreds of dollars. So
yeah.
And some other artists are just like, I'm just gonna put a quick sketch on the book. Just give me like $20.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you got my business.
Yeah. Yeah, I started a recent, my first one. I had the pleasure. Did you ever even meet Alan Bellman?
Yeah, I did a couple of times. I was talking to him just about a month or so before he passed last November. I was covering Rhode Island Comic Con for Outright Geekery, and he was there. I also talked to Joe Rubenstein there and Graham Nolan and who else was there? Who wasn't there? I was talking to Neil Adams when he was still in a good mood before he got cranky later on in the day.
Yeah.
So it was a very cool experience. Whenever I cover a convention, everybody's like, "What's a convention?" We used to be able to gather in large numbers and go meet like our favorite comic book artists and celebrities and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And we'd all be surprised when we saw like a whole bunch of women there, like, this girl's here.
Woo! Yeah, and look out when they start doing the cosplay, right?
Oh yeah, well that's something different. That's I'm pretty. Give me your money.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun. I had met Alan. I met Alan there the very first year Rhode Island Comic Con was there, and he was set up right next to Ken Hunt that did like a lot of Batman work. And that year, I actually on the other side I have an original Joker head pencil sketch from Ken Hunt that he was working on for something else. But because the print that I wanted, he sold to some guy dressed up as Green Arrow instead. It was like a miscommunication. And so he sold me that print, and I got like a great history lesson from Alan that year. This past year, he was, a little out of sorts, and went under the weather. I talked to once they sat down, because he wanted to walk around the whole place, so he had like his security entourage,
Yeah.
and his wife holding on to him. Stand up straight, and they were walking around. Once they sat down at the table, I went by in my wheelchair and chatted with him for a few minutes, and and I felt bad the following month. I wrote up like a little thing, and the same with Jilt and Jill Sonat too.
Yeah, I never got the chance to meet him.
I met him the year before I went into the coma. No, like 2 years before I went into the coma at a Boston show.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of like shoved him, one of the original women that did the art on Wonder Woman,
mm-hmm.
Silver Age stuff, and a couple other people, and Kevin Eastman, like all in like this closet of a room.
What a random combination.
Because this show they had Hulk Hogan there.
Uh-huh.
And the line to go in to spend 2 seconds with him was 4 across and about 1.5 miles long.
Wow.
Literally. It went from just outside the front door, and he was like on the far side of that hotel where the convention was set up. It was ridiculous.
We have a convention here, and actually, surprisingly, we had one this past spring. I think it was a spring. Anyway, in the middle of all the COVID stuff, I think it might have been July or something. I don't remember. And they're supposed to be having it again in April, but a lot of the artists and stuff backed out, but they still went through with the con, and everybody was masked up and hand sanitizer everywhere and all that stuff. But we've been pretty fortunate to be able to still have a little bit of activity. But what made me think of that was the only other time I've seen a line like that besides Stan was one of the voice actors for it was some anime show. I can't remember what it was. Super Saigon something or another, but I don't know. I don't follow anime that much, but the line was down the convention hall, around the backside, and people were just lined up for hours to get him to sign something. And it blew me away.
Yeah, I'm like, the same thing the first year with they had brought in the entire original lineup for the very first Power Ranger show. So Jason Frank David was there, and then the others.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just ridiculous. I'm like, I'm walking by and I'm like, who are you all here for? He goes, Power Rangers. I go, oh my God, can the 3-year-olds go home now?
Oh, it's funny. I remember being a kid and I loved that show, but now when I try to watch it with my kids, I'm like, man, this is so awful. It's entertaining, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's great for little kids, kind of like when I was a kid, Speed Racer was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw it again on like Nick at Night or something. I'm like, oh man, the car's still cool, but man, this show is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they made a movie that was even worse. But the Mach 5 and the 66 Batmobile is still like the two coolest.
There's actually a company that makes reproductions of the 66 Batmobile now that you can buy. And they have like different tiers of, authenticity, or well, not authenticity, but I guess you'd say accuracy. And I mean, the most expensive ones, or the cheapest ones, like 120,000 or something like that. But it would be pretty awesome to own one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, give me the Bat Tank from Dark Knight Returns. I'd be happy.
Oh yeah, the tumbler.
Yeah, it's like even the we can only give you rubber bullets. I go, oh, that's fine. I'll have the bullets.
Just drive around and do crowd disbursement.
Yeah, I drive to Seattle. Just saying.
Isn't that where the one guy was from who got famous being a hometown superhero, or is that in Portland maybe? Did you ever watch the show Comic Book Man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was on there one time. I can't remember his name. He was a black guy, and he started dressing up like a vigilante and going around, and he got shot a couple times, and eventually the cops were okay with him being out there and stuff, and it was crazy. But
because he's a lunatic, and we either have to lock him up in a padded cell and foot the bill for it, or just let him go. What's the worst that could happen?
Mm-hmm.
He calls us and says, "Yeah, I got a mugger tied up to the telephone pole on 32nd Street," and we go out and pick him up.
Yeah, he was a regional celebrity up there, and then eventually, I think he just got kind of jaded about it and quit doing it. So
yeah,
but interesting. But going back to Alan Bellman, one of the products had mentioned, we have we call it the convention stand, and it's basically collapsible. Like the pieces will come apart, so you can go there, and it has a top piece for advertising and a bottom piece, and then some posts that go in it. And but anyway, Alan was asking me about my stands the first time I met him, and I told him, I said, yeah, I make these stands for comics, and he said, well, I'd love to have something to display my prints on, because he sells, or sold a lot of prints. That was his main thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, well, I can come up with something. So I made 4 different stands for him, put his signature on them and cap stuff. And I shipped them to him about a month before he passed. But the cool thing was, he called me on my personal phone a couple times just to check in and see how they were coming along. And, he wanted to make sure that I tried to cut him a good deal. And he's, oh, no, charge me what you'd normally charge. And anyway, it was just an honor meeting him. And he actually, I started a sketchbook. I'm going to go around to, a jam book. I got one of those free comic book and 24-hour books, the cover and all the pages are blank or whatever. And you can see this, but that's the sketch he did for me right there.
Oh, let's blow you up so we can see that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And he put one of his, slogan things, I snarl at man's inhumanity to man, on there. He wrote that a lot on stuff, but if he only knew what the last year would be like, I think he'd probably write it on everything. But
oh yeah, he was writing on, he had talked to me about last November about, how disgusted he was with the way that, things that were happening in the country, and and kids nowadays, and I'm and I'm agreeing with him, and I go, oh my God, I'm an old person now.
Well, I tell you what, he was a living legend though. It was
oh yeah,
really awesome to talk to him.
Yeah, because I was flipping. Well, he was talking to me the first time I met him. He had like a couple of huge like portfolios with some of his original Timely Comics Captain America stuff.
Yeah,
and I was just carefully going through them, and he didn't have prices on anything, and I'm like, I go, is this just for look? Is this just for show, or are you selling some of these original pages? He goes, oh, I'm selling some of the original pages. They range from $2,000 to $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Oh, pass that along.
And then, but then he sat there and just chatted me up and gave me like a history lesson of back from like even before Timely Comics.
Yeah.
And I go, it was just real interesting, because I love like comic book history.
Yeah, he's all of those golden age, artists and stuff. There's not many of them left, so anytime you get a chance to meet one, it's well worth just listening to him talk. I mean, it was a different era, a different age, and now everything's done on a computer. But hearing those guys talk about having to go into New York City and doing side jobs and all that stuff, it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, like Joe had told me when I was talking to him, he goes, "Yeah, I inked and embellished, most of Jack's work, and never met the guy." We met once in passing after I had stopped. I had just stopped in to talk to Stan about something, and Jack was there. Stan didn't introduce us. Thought we knew each other, and we didn't. And Jack walked by me. I didn't even know it was him.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, even nowadays, I think it's like that too. Some of the newer artists I've talked to, they'll get the pencil work and then they've got to ink it. And
well, now everything gets loaded up to an encrypted file and sent off. And because of the internet, there's so many of these artists that are like all over the planet, working on books, and you don't have to leave your house. So, comic book guys are like, "Oh, we're still on lockdown. Oh, okay. I guess I'll go back to work."
Yeah.
It's just, a little crazy, but
it's pretty impersonal. But, I guess that's the one thing about the comic industry that stayed the same. Oh.
Yeah. Well, because, anybody that's a creator, most of them all work from home anyhow.
Yeah, it's true.
Or they have like a small office somewhere, or they share like an office, not far from their house. So the most they do is like walk down the block or a mile or two away, and that's their whole big travel. It's not like they're going into Boston or New York or LA. Although you couldn't actually go into LA, can you? Because
no, I don't know. Never been.
Me neither. I wouldn't want to go. I don't want to drive that far. Well, not that I can drive now. My wheelchair wouldn't hold the charge to get to California.
That would be quite the drive.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just too long.
Do you mind if I share my screen for a second?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let me do that.
Show off a whole bunch of stuff.
Tell me when it's on there.
Not yet.
No, all right, here we go. I think. Any luck?
Not yet. Nope.
Oh, it says that Chrome has lost my ability to. Anyway, I don't know. Move on. I'll try to get this sorted out here real quick. So.
Well, I'm trying to go over to your page and just steal stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that works too. But I've got a picture of I'm trying to show you this convention stand that I made for Alan, because it's pretty neat, I think. And just he sent me a magazine. Roy Thomas has a magazine called Alter Ego. I don't know if he still publishes.
Oh yeah. Oh, no. I got a couple of issues of it. It was great.
Yeah, there's one that Alan did the cover art for, and he sent me a copy of it and signed it. And it's got an interview in there that kind of tells his story about, how he was in comics and then he got out, and then somebody contacted him and said, "Hey, you should really get on this convention circuit," and that's how he kind of got back into it. And it's really, really interesting.
Hey, he's supposed to be coming back to do like more stuff. To like a whole other a whole brand new series.
Really? What, Roy Thomas is?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
So let's see. Boom, boom, boom. See, I'm cheating here by I didn't find that one yet because I'm still scrolling down your slab stand page, but I had to show off since I am the Joker fan. I have to show off the Joker one.
Yeah. Which one you got going here?
Can you see it if you look up on the screen?
Okay. Oh yeah, that's the newest one.
It does not come with the bloody crowbar, but
we could make it happen.
Don Dizzle is asking for the link for slab stands.
Yeah, Don, if you go to Facebook or Instagram, either one, you'll be able to just search for slab stands, and it'll be the first one that pops up. So we've got a website at slabstands.com, but I've got a full-time job that I do too, and 3 boys that I'm trying to keep alive with my wife, and it's just I don't get to update the website as much as I would like to. So.
Here we go. We threw the website up in there, and if you search slab stands on either Facebook or Instagram, it'll just come right up because there's nothing else with the same name.
Yeah. Huh. The original and the first. All right. Can you see it now?
Here we go.
All right. So there it is right there.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's got the post in the back are removable. The top header banner board is removable, so it collapses and throws into a bag, and it works great for prints and anything you can think of, really.
So you can put comics on that. You can put magazines on that. You can put prints on that.
Yeah, you can see that top loader is sitting on it, and that's an 11 by 14 top loader. So that's what he wanted for his print. So just to give a little, I guess, effect of what it looks like, that was it.
And then you threw your Alter Ego magazine up there. I saw a little signature around there too. So
yeah, he signed it for me.
That was very cool. I like Thor, but I'm not a huge Thor fan. But my friend Thomas, he's from Southern Georgia. Him and I do the weekly podcast. Not this week because of the holiday, but we have another weekly podcast called OK Boomer.
Oh, okay.
And all we do is deep dive and rate like old gold and silver and bronze age books.
Oh, nice.
So it's a little bit of comic history, and he's a huge Thor fan. I actually sold him Diamond Direct was doing the Mego style figures, like exclusive ones. You get like the one you get like the big window display box, 2 full costume changes, heads and hands and everything. So I sold him my Thor.
Yeah.
So it came with the MCU Thor costume and hammer, the classic comic, the old school classic comic book, like Walt Simonson costume and hammer.
Oh yeah.
And came with all the accoutrements to dress him up as Dr. Donald Blake.
Nice.
Wooden stick and everything. So I'm like, I think I showed him a couple of times. He's like, oh, I'd love to get one of those. When you did Thor's hammer as a slab stand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of the biggest sellers I've got for my custom stuff, and it was just kind of like when I made the first slab stand. Just one day I was sitting around, I wonder if I could do this, and sure enough, like here's actually I've got the prototype that I made right here. This is how crappy that is. So it's been sitting out in the garage, but
it's a first edition though.
yeah, it's the very first one. So, but it all started when I was on furlough. I'm a government employee, so when we were furloughed a couple of years ago, it was January, and my wife works from home, so I was like, man, what am I going to do? I was like, oh God, give me an idea. And
I'm gonna go nuts.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, I was looking at my slabs, and I was like, I want to see if I can go make a stand to display some of these, and started showing some buddies, and they're like, hey, I want one, and I want one, and it just kind of snowballed. And I tell you that selling those, it was a really a big blessing that selling those through those months when I was furloughed kept us afloat. So and it's been fantastic. I love doing it, and it's a passion. But anyway, yeah, the Thor's hammer, that's the same way it started. Saw a bigger piece of wood, and I thought, I wonder if I could do one of these. So
I made a toolkit out of this full thing. Let me see if I can make a display stand.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see if I can find because they're all made to order, so I don't.
Yeah, they're all custom. I found this one, the Ant-Man frame.
Oh yeah, that's one of our slab frames that we have now. It just slides down, and I've got a blank one sitting beside me. I can show you that here in a minute how it works, but it just slides down in the top, and it's keyholed in the back, so you can hang on the wall. Comes with all the hardware and everything.
That's awesome. Uh-oh.
So,
my interweb was slowing down.
Oh, okay.
I had too many screens open at the same time while I'm streaming, and I got the little blue circle around my cursor. I'm like, ah!
Oh yes, this blue circle of death.
Yeah. Yeah. So show us how that frame keyholes and it works there.
Let me grab a slab real quick. So basically, this is what it is. It's you've got your keyholes here on the back. So all you do is put your screws in the wall and just hang it on there. But you take your slab and you just slide it down, and it's sized so it'll fit any brand of slab. So the thickness doesn't matter, the CBCS or CGC doesn't matter, but that's it. So and you can get them customized to the book, or you can get them painted just a plain color, whatever you like.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's a question, because the ones that the one that I have, my Pirello, my Vampirella, when I get them, I like to take the crappy plastic bags that they ship the slabs in off.
Yeah.
And put them in a Mylar, because they display really nice inside a Mylar.
Mm-hmm.
Would that affect it getting into one of those frames?
No, not at all. It's what holds these in is actually the lip. So on the sides here, so there, as you can see, that's a CGC book, and it's fairly thick, and there's still plenty of room there. So
oh yeah, okay, that's nice. Yeah,
it really wouldn't be an issue at all. Yeah, I've tested. I've got one of the 100-page. Was it 100-page? I don't know, the Detective Comics 1000, however many pages it was. It's a super thick one, and it fits in there perfectly fine too. So that's not it.
I don't have many slabs. Like I just sold a couple. I've got an All-Star Squadron #1 that I picked up from a Facebook auction for like $35.
Oh wow!
And it's CGC. It's not a high grade. I think it's like a 6.5, 6.8. But it's a signed one, so I'm like, it's signed by Jerry, so I'm like, well,
Yeah, I've got a picture of a low grade book that I'm gonna share with you here for a second. It's low, but it's about as low as you can get. It is honestly one of my favorite books that I've got. And love the low grade stuff. Sometimes, like, especially if it's a harder to get an older book that you know has been passed around a lot because of its significance and stuff. I don't mind it being a low grade at all. But let me share this with you. So, you see that there?
Oh, that's nice.
So on the left, we got the Jason Aaron signed homage to Journey into Mystery '89. That's signed by Stan's brother, who I think most collectors probably won't know that he had a whole lot to do with creating some of these great characters too. You just hear about Stan all the time, obviously, but
yeah. Well, because most of us grew up hearing Stan yell Excelsior during all the cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's one of my favorite covers right there.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, this is probably the first time I've actually seen one.
Oh yeah,
like an actual copy, not not just like a picture on the interwebs there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I guess that is a low grade.
Yeah.
I know. Going back about 20 years ago, there used to be a by my LCS here in Mass. There was a VFW hall like around the corner,
mm-hmm.
and there was a guy that ended up getting bigger and bigger and moved out of the area. But he used to do monthly shows, except for the summertime. He would do monthly shows there, and it was just like a small, like, old school comic convention.
Yeah.
The only cosplayers that would be there is if some local guys were like, oh, there's a convention, let me get dressed up and go in costume.
Right.
Other than that, it was just regular people going in and out, a bunch of local artists and vendors and stores, and
more of that swap meet kind of feel.
Yeah, like the old, like it used to be back in the day,
Yeah.
And I was buying up a bunch of the old Treasury books.
Oh yeah.
And there was one Batman one that I've wanted since I was a kid, and this guy just wouldn't budge on his price of like $50, and I'm like, I go, well, I got $30 left. You can take it or leave it. I'll give you all the money I got on me. He goes, sure. And now just run to an ATM and get another 20. I go, if it was that easy, don't you think I wouldn't have been foolish enough to already go out and do it? But I bought a signed Infinity Gauntlet #1. And I bought a couple of hot books at the time. The 3D Joker covers things. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I bought a couple of extra, and I sent a couple out to friends of mine, and I bought probably about 6 like Treasury books.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking around, and every dealer had them. Every dealer had like at least like 1 or 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shop that I know from Bellingham, the Rubber Chicken, one of the partners there was set up, and he had like 2 whole boxes of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I go, what are you asking for the Treasury books? He goes, $10 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, boink, 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 boink.
Yeah.
I bought both Legion of Superheroes ones.
Mm-hmm.
One was the wedding between Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl.
Okay.
And then there was another one, which was that cover was done by Neil Adams, and then there was another cover where it was like the entire Legion was spread out for a wraparound cover on a Treasury edition.
Okay.
I picked up Doctor Strange, I picked up a better copy of the Battlestar Galacticas and the Star Wars books
Mm-hmm.
that because I still had the copies I had from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That were a little mangled, which treasury books would be the perfect size thing to put on the stand like you showed that you made for Alan.
Yeah. I went to a local comic shop in my hometown a couple of years ago. They were doing like a Black Friday sale or something, and when they put the boxes out with comics for 50 cents a piece, and they had some of the hardback treasury editions, the ones that are not super big, but about that thick or whatever, like Journey into Mystery and the giant size X-Men and all that kind of stuff. And they were selling for $8 a piece. And I'm kicking myself for not splurging and buying at least one of each of them. But I got a bunch of the other stuff, but none of those. But.
Well, if you're anywhere near an Ollie's,
yes,
you always got to check the Ollie's because there's always good deals there. A friend of mine down in Florida hit the Ollie's by him, and he goes, I found a secret that if you actually don't stop at the big giant bins that they have all the Marvel and DC, trades and hardcovers in, and you actually go to their legit book section.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of times if they've got any omnibuses in, they're back there, and you can get like $150 omnibus for like $25.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they had bought he bought the original Infinity Gauntlet omnibus back there. I mean, I scored the original Age of Apocalypse omnibus.
Oh, fun!
Off of, I'm still reading it because it's it's a big fatty. Because you got that omnibus has the lead in with the issues of X-Men leading up to it. Then that 4-issue Legion Quest story. So you've read like a half dozen comics before the story even really starts. So I scored that off a guy on Comic Book Marketplace, and he delivered it to my apartment at the time for $20.
Holy cow!
I'm like, I go. That is like my best score ever.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the other things you're working on? You started doing the pop stands.
Yeah, I've got a picture of one of those I could show you as well. Pull that up here. It's those have been pretty fun to do. That's just a generic one I made for when I first started advertising them. But they'll fit. If you collect pops, you can put them in the protector sleeve, and they'll fit inside those as well.
Nice.
And they're. I've actually got that stand here. I just don't have. I'm not a Funko Pop collector aside from the giant ones, but this is it right here, and it's got there we go. It's got the groove down in there, and they're solid, so they're pretty heavy. But
they're ideal to display your favorite pop on, or also for home defense.
There you go.
Because
they do have some corners. So
so you've got the big stands that you're making basically for artists and dealers to display various wares at the conventions. And
we make a lot for Instagram. Has been actually our biggest avenue of advertising, and a lot of the guys who do auctions and just post their collections and stuff on there, getting them slab stands personalized and sent out. And it's been a lot of fun just making them for people with coming up for something that matches their personality or their favorite character, and putting their handles on there. And so it's obviously the convention stands would make a lot of them right now, but the Funko Pops have been big, and the frames have been a lot of fun. So I started recently doing well, not recently doing. I just did my first one, but I made a commission cover out of vinyl because that's what I use for all of my stands, obviously. So that's my first one. Instead of a sketch cover, it's kind of a vinyl sketch, I guess you'd say. But yeah, that's the first one of those I did. That's probably the newest avenue I've gone down. But
now, is that the actual book, or is that just kind of like an art display piece?
It's an actual copy of Action 1000. So instead of putting a sketch on the cover, I did vinyl art. So
you made the whole thing out of vinyl, and you basically color formed the cover.
Yeah, anytime you see a stand, it's not printed all at one time. It's every color is a separate layer of vinyl. So it's I mean, it's a handmade piece of art, I guess you could say. So a lot of time goes into each one, and it's just, I love doing it. So I figured, well, can't really draw all that great, but I can make stuff out of vinyl. So I'll try to do a sketch cover with that.
Well, that's pretty cool. I've got one copy, and it's slabbed of Action 1000. And because I had wanted the art germ cover where Superman's carrying Supergirl,
yeah,
in the classic old pose, and the guy I was going through had one, but it wasn't the full color one. It was art germ's like gray line.
Oh yeah,
like layout sketch. So I got that one, but he also got it signed for me by a couple of the writers that did stuff on the book.
Oh, that's cool.
Luckily not Brian Michael Bendis, because I can't stand him. He's ruined the DC universe. Except for Naomi, that was a great story. And now of course she's getting it. Now they're going to let him go and, ruin the Justice League. So,
yeah.
But whatever, I'll check it out. I guess they're trying to get him to do the same thing he did when he took over Avengers, because Avengers was just kind of and then he put a bunch of superstars in the book, threw like Wolverine in there and Spider-Man, and
yeah, that's kind of a trend lately with a lot of the books, is just making all these random teams up and calling it something new, and I don't know, kind of smells of a lack of originality to me, but
yeah,
it is.
Well, I do a lot of stuff with indie creators, and the indie market has been spectacular this year.
Yeah,
there's more good stuff, and fresher and newer ideas coming out of there, and Vault Comics has been great this past year, as well as Upshot from AWA, and Scout Comics has been awesome.
Scout has been great, yeah. One of the it's not a new series by any means, and they don't make it anymore, but did you ever read Rock Candy Mountain? It's about a hobo who jumps on trains and drives around the country, and this businessman who jumps on the train with him. Can't remember why he got on the hobo train, but it's fantastic. It's just hobo interactions and fights, and it's a fantastic story. If you haven't read that, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think it came out probably like 3 or 4 years ago, so it's not new by any means. But
yeah, I might have actually, it sounds familiar. So there's a chance I might have, read the PDF and reviewed it for Outright Geekery.
Yeah,
that's where a lot of stuff is, and I just got my comic book collection back, so it's taken up like a third of my office room back here. So I've been going, doing unboxing videos, because I actually don't know what's in any of these boxes.
Oh, that's fun.
You're in a coma, and your friend whose condo you've been renting is like, well, I can't keep the house without somebody to pay the mortgage on it. So
yeah,
that's for sale. Who wants to help me come and pack up their stuff?
Oh.
And So luckily I had like a super good friend that I worked with at one of the nightclubs. Put, I'd say, like a good 90% of my stuff in storage at his house, because on the side he'll pick up, like, all kinds of bicycles and fix them up, repaint them and everything, and sell them. So he's got one of those long trailers without wheels on it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the shipping dock stuff.
Yeah.
He's got one of those in his backyard. Plus, he's got like a nice big 2-car garage. So my entire collection, plus actual parts of my life and my daughter's, were all in storage for almost 5 years at his house, and I just got everything back last week.
Oh wow!
And I opened up a box, and my leather jacket that's all airbrushed up with Joker stuff on the back.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, branding. If you look up in the corner, that's my jacket. I found that. I was ecstatic, and I lifted it out, and it came down, and it hit the joystick on my wheelchair, and it shot me forward into the column of comic book boxes of full comic books, and my feet went like this.
Oh no!
And I've got nerve damage and neuropathy in both legs, so I didn't feel anything till my knees hit the boxes.
Oh my goodness!
And I was like, oh, so I was in the hospital for a couple of days. But
yeah, a very Joker thing to happen to you, right?
Yeah, really. I go, that's just crazy. But I've been finding stuff. Been finding like some '89 Batman toys from Toy Biz.
Oh, that's cool.
Pops from the Madness said he wants this, my Smiley Psychotic button from the old Chaos comic days. I go, that's okay. I actually have a ceramic Smiley button from Chaos Comics on my Joker jacket. So that's what probably shot me into the damn comics. I found a Spider-Woman Frisbee from the old cartoon series back from 1980. Cool. Still in the bag. I'm like, I kind of want to take it out, but I'm afraid of stuff I'll knock over. So
that is pretty cool.
And I've opened up like 3 big boxes, and they've all been filled with those monthly kind of like loot crate things. And I'm like, oh man, I forgot about this. There was a loot crate that had shown up to my door after I landed in the hospital and was never opened. So I get to open that one and see it.
It's like Christmas all over again.
Oh yeah, it is. And then I was also subscribed to the one that I liked a lot better was the Wizard Comic-Con box. And one of the first ones I got from them was Supergirl, the CW show thing.
Oh yeah.
Except Supergirl started on CBS. Yeah. And they canceled it, and CW got it. But there was a promo card with Supergirl and the show title and CBS on it, and they put variant books in every box. And they were exclusive, and the print run was to however many subscribers they had that month.
Right.
And the Supergirl one is an early John Boy Mayers.
Really?
And he's sketched up and drew Supergirl and that famous Neil Adams cover from when Superman's breaking the kryptonite chains.
Yeah.
Same thing, but it's that. There was another one where it was from Mike Mayhew when the series Vader Down came out.
Oh, yeah.
It was the homage Vader Down cover where it was kind of like the side shot ghosting Vader's mask in the background. And that one, they sent a full color and a black and white. Oh, so, nice. Like a cover A and cover B for the exclusive. I go, oh, these are cool. I found a glow in the dark Groot.
Fun.
I'm like,
it's hard to beat Groot.
I've been hearing a lot of rumors that they're talking the possibility of using some of the storyline from Hickman's Secret Wars from a few years ago, and at some point doing in the Thor movies doing Thor Core, and they've been, I guess, teasing the idea of at one point they might make Groot a Thor.
Oh wow!
I'm like, I go, oh, that would be hysterical.
Yeah,
you know,
well, they made that frog one, so
I'm like, how long would it be before he chopped himself down by accident?
Yeah.
But so you've been doing these for a couple of years. You're having quite a bit of success on them. I know I've got two myself, and I know some friends that got them. And I live in this loft, so I'm like in a factory. So I got like the lower walls that go around the brick on the outside, and you got this lip, and the slab stands fit with like about that much room hanging off the end.
It's meant to be,
like a pizza slice. So all four of like the rubber stopper legs sit perfectly on there, and I'm like, I go, oh, now if it wasn't just for like these 6 foot wide by 15 foot high windows everywhere, I could actually put these things everywhere. But I'm like, I don't want to put them there. Then take them down. Like, oh, they're sun bleached.
Yeah, get you some UV film and put it up there, right?
So I'll get like some. I'll have to like dye some sleeves and put them up there, or get some of the sample like mini blinds and hang them up over the slab stand. Turn it over, turn it back. I don't know, just some crazy ideas.
Yeah.
So you got the regular slab stands. Are you still doing the regular slab stands with the ones that mount, or did you switch off of that and go to a newer model?
I do. Well, I mean, the frames are technically the newer one, but we do offer, like, you can get a regular slab stand and a wall mount version, but it's just not as deep as a regular one, and it still has the keyholes on the back, so it's more like a little shelf than it is a frame. But yeah, I mean, we do those. We don't get as many requests for them as we used to since we started doing the frames, but absolutely, if anybody has a slab stand or wants to display a book, it doesn't have the shelf space or anything for a slab stand, we definitely make where you can hang them on the wall. One of the things, another one we haven't mentioned, I'll show it to you. It's we do an action figure stand, or a slab stand with pegs for an action figure, and those have been pretty cool too. A lot of people, collect the Marvel Legends, and there we go. So it comes with foot pegs for the figures, so you can stand, whatever figure you want to match your book right next to it.
Yeah, that's cool. It would be difficult for me because I would actually have to open a figure.
Yeah. That is a tough thing for some people.
Although I came across Ghost from Dark Horse many moons ago. I had bought the Ghost action figure. It wasn't a very highly detailed figure. It was pretty raw, looking more like one of the Kenners. But it comes with a special edition variant copy of like Ghost #1, like from the first volume. And I've had it for so long. The plastic is yellowing, and it got so brittle. There's like a big hole in one section of the plastic. But I mean, it's not a bad looking figure, and it's got the book in the background with the variant cover, and it's got like her holsters and a couple of guns. And then there's that big hole in the plastic.
Right.
Holy Ghost! Oh, such a bad pun.
Yeah, some of my favorite figures though are the like the DC superheroes and superpowers, and that cartoon was my favorite. Well, that and G.I. Joe were my favorite cartoons growing up, and
I actually have one of the promo posters for the Joker from the Super Bowers collection.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like pretty big. It's like 16 by 24.
Okay, yeah, that's a good size.
You know, so I mean, and it's got like the Superpowers logo and everything on there, and it's dated down the bottom. Like I bought it off some guy for like $24.99 on eBay, probably about 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, that's
so
I'm like wall space back behind you.
So yeah, so I mean, I gotta reframe that one because the frame it was in got damaged. So I gotta like reframe that and put it back up. And I'm going through boxes. I found DC did an Unmasked series where they would put like alternate heads so you could swap out the heads. So there's a Batman Bruce Wayne. So you pop off the cowl head and you put on his, and there was a Batgirl. There was a Superman where his glasses were off to the side, but they would clip onto the head.
Uh-huh.
And then they basically made a clip-on tie because they had him like this, exposing obviously his super suit. So they made this big clip piece where the tie is in the middle and the rest is supposed to be like his white dress shirt matching up to it. So you clip it on, and it obviously doesn't look right when you put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably one of the things that the thought that counts.
Right.
One of the other ones that was in there, which wasn't really an unmasked character, but they put Martian Manhunter in, so they did like the newer version of Martian Manhunter where he's got the big pointy head, and then you can swap it off, and you can put on like the classic big Cro-Magnon eyebrow head from like the 50s.
Let me show you. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I got this close by. One of my favorite characters from that series was Firestorm. So I had there's an artist called Austin Ott is his name, and he does remakes modern covers to look like other characters, and he took a Martian Manhunter #1 and remade it into Firestorm for me.
That is completely badass.
Isn't it cool? It's fantastic. I love it. So it's one of my favorite commissions I've ever had done.
Wow.
So it's gonna get them both slabbed and put it right next to the first edition. But I love Firestorm.
The fifth character that was in that Unmasked line was actually Joker, the original Red Hood. So just the big red dome, so you could pop it off, and it had like a classic 90s Joker head.
That's a pretty easy one to make, I would think.
Yeah. Just put that big, fish dome on top of his head and go from there. But there was another set. No, I moved him down there. I can't get to him. I set up a barricade for some reason.
Yeah. Keep that Joker jacket away from me.
Yeah, I know, right? There was it's down there on the floor. I'm like, I was thinking of wearing it to my doctor's appointment today. I go, nah, something bad will happen. But there was another set of figures, and I can't remember. They were done after like a certain artist, like they would make like the Ed McGuinness ones, and these might have been McGuinness figures. I'm not sure. Yeah. But they made a Firestorm. Speaking of which, in this set, but it's like the new it's like the new 52 version of Firestorm.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the one you have on that cover.
Yep.
But this is one of the most badass figures I've seen from DC. Because he's got the flame coming off the top of the head, but the flame comes off the head all the way down past his ass to the stand at his feet with the flame going, and it's like almost like a see-through plastic. It's not see-through plastic, but you can see where light can would shine,
Yeah.
shine through it. So if you put like a small like key light behind them, it would like light the figure up pretty cool. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know I had that. That was like, from they would pack like 4 boxes inside like a big case, which would make the one case that they would ship to a store.
Yeah.
And you get like 4 sets out of it. So I had that, and that box had never been opened, so I opened it live on one of the unboxings. And I had the Chase figure in there too. They had 2 Donna Troys, one in the actual Wonder Girl costume and one in the black Troya costume with the stars all over it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Too bad she died last season.
I'd love to see that Firestorm one sometime. You'll have to send me a picture.
Yeah, as I'm going through them and setting stuff up, I'll snap a couple of shots of it and send it to you. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anybody can reach you on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Instagram's where you had the biggest reaction. That's where I found you a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of like scrolling through, and I'm like, ooh, comic books. What's this? Ooh.
Yeah, we started on Facebook actually, but Instagram has been it's really taken off since then. But I've got a couple. The Thor stand you mentioned earlier, I found a picture of it. I'll show you.
Oh, cool.
And it's actually a picture of that and the new Wolverine stand that we make. So the Wolverine stand has the blades in the side there, his claw.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And then the Thor's hammer, Mjolnir right there. Those are
the Wolverine stand would be a lot cooler if I actually owned a Hulk 181.
The first one we made like that was for Wolverine #1, the miniseries.
Mm-hmm. I've got that.
Yeah, so it could be customized to whatever Wolverine book you wanted.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll show you that somebody ordered the Mjolnir stand, and he had a Loki book he wanted to put next to it, and he wanted something kind of bigger and more elaborate. And I was like, man, what can I do with that? Because Loki, you don't know a whole lot about, or there's not a whole lot about him. He doesn't have a hammer or anything. So I came up with this one I found some Loki horns on a cosplay headset, and was able to turn it into kind of like a 3D look there.
Wow.
So
that is radically badass.
Thanks, man. Yeah. But yeah, so we definitely like doing all the custom stuff. Let me see. I had one more I wanted to show you right here. This is one of my favorite pieces I ever made. There's a guy who collects the Hot Toys figures.
Mm-hmm.
And he had pre-ordered this Stan Lee here from, what was that, Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Or I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. And he wanted something to be able to display the book next to the Hot Toys figure. And so I hand painted the Galaxy background and carved the stone and put that on there so it fit the book and the toy. And that's one of my favorite pieces. It was big, but
yeah, because not including the stand, that's probably like a good $2,000 right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty expensive piece. So it's a cool book. The figure is fantastic too. The detail on that one is great.
I know.
I could more of those.
I just hate how they discovered that, hey, all these people are trying to buy all this stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like they had growing up. And if we make it better,
mm-hmm.
they we'll call them toys, but they'll be high-end collectibles.
Yes.
How much can we charge for them? Sky's the limit.
Just change the name.
I'm like, oh my God. And a friend of mine's got like a few. He has like the Hot Toy statues.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a big FF fan. So he's got the FF ones.
Oh yeah.
The FF stands, the ones that light up. He's got the Galactus statue that's got Silver Surfer flying around.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm just looking and going,
yeah. Good.
He's like, if you like those, come upstairs. Let me show you my trophy room. I'm like, oh God, yeah. It just.
Have you seen the one? I think it's a sideshow. Maybe they made a giant Sentinel robot, and I don't know how big it is, but it's probably 2 to 3 feet tall, and it's got all the little X-Men around it fighting it, and that's fantastic.
I saw one. I've seen one be advertised on Entertainment Earth, and there's one X-Men for each piece of the statue.
Yeah.
And there's like wrecked Sentinel stuff everywhere. But I guess you have to buy like 30 of these pieces.
Oh, wow.
And then they assemble all together for like one of those big giant displays that you would see at like San Diego in like the middle of the floor. And I'm like, and I'm looking, and I there was one that was Angel's one of my favorite X-Men.
Oh, okay.
And there was one with they had one statue with Archangel, and he was like zooming up like in a battle pose, and the metal wings were going, like sick and crazy. And I'm like, part of the statue down below had like blades that he had shot off from his wings.
Oh yeah.
And I go to look, and Angel isn't that big. He's probably like a little bigger than like your average, action figure nowadays. But the diorama that connected everything was, pretty intense and sizable. I look, on sale, 20% off, only $179.95. I'm like, oh, get out of here. I didn't pay that much for my first 2 cars. I'm like,
those things get ridiculous pricey. And I follow some guys who have channels who just have tons of these giant statues that, I'm like, I don't know what you do for a living, but I want in.
I know, right? It's like there's one guy that I follow that does like weekly things for like what he picked up for like new comics, and his average video is like 5-10 minutes, and then he multi-shares it across like all the comic groups that he's in, and like the first 7 minutes is just him showing brand new exclusive books already pre-slabbed from all these convention dealers that put themselves off as a comic company, and dish out like tens of thousands of dollars like every month to like Marvel, DC, IDW, whoever, to get like their own exclusives of just about everything coming on the market, from whoever's hot that month. Like, Leon Yuk is like super hot again. So, they got him, he's doing like a bunch of exclusive covers, and Peach Momoko, which, I still don't get.
I'm not a big fan of that either.
No, I mean, he goes, a friend of mine said, he goes, yeah, Peach is kind of like hit or miss. I go, well, there's lots of misses.
Yeah. A few of her stuff that I've seen, I was like, okay, that's really good. Like the Yoda that she did. Did you see the Yoda?
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
I enjoyed that one. And then there's been a couple other ones that I think are pretty cool, but most of it, it's a little too.
The King Robin cover she did for Dark Knight's Metal 3 was cool. And I didn't even know it was a Peach cover. Buddy of mine who's retired Air Force does like an online auction like every week. And he put that up just as, buy it now thing. And I'm like, I'll take it. Because I wanted that cover. because I pre-ordered that action figure from McFarlane.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I go, oh, shadow box figure in front.
Mm-hmm.
Because I won't open the figure, so it'll just be,
Well, I can't leave a figure in a box. I don't know what my problem about it is, but
like I want to open them up and play with them. I go, but if at some point I ever want to sell them,
yeah,
like this is the problem with action figures. If you open the package, they're worthless.
yeah, well, yeah,
next to worthless. If the package gets like damaged, like this, if there's one scratch on the package, boom. Which is why Entertainment Earth started doing this. Well, here are your shipping options. We can ship you the collectible that you've chosen, or we can ship you the collectible under collectible shipping. So we won't just have somebody throw this thing across the room and hope it lands in a box. They will actually carry it gently across the room and place it in a box. And I'm like, are you holding me hostage? Because you don't know the amount of stink I'm going to put up, if I pay like $40 for, an exclusive action figure and I had to wait 6 months for it to come out on top of everything. And when I finally get it next year, it's bang the hell up.
Well, that might be why they started doing it, though.
Yeah. Well, we got to go through and we got to look for a good one first. I'm like, if you're going to go to all that trouble, you might as well just start grading the toys too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's toy graders out there. So
there are.
But at that point, like I said, I'm going to probably this weekend, it's Christmas. So I want to open something. So I'm going to, get my X-Acto knives out and carefully cut Ghost out of her shell and get the book out. Of course, I'm going to read the book first, and because I haven't read it in a long time. I've got the whole series somewhere, but
yeah, the only action figure that really I've been bound and determined not to open is this. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's the Stan Lee Marvel Legends figure.
Let me blow up your screen.
There you go.
Oh yeah, well that you got it signed too. So
no, that's actually how it came. It's not a real.
Oh, that's not a real signature.
No, that's printed on the plastic.
Oh,
but
Mego has a Stan Lee figure that just came out in its last last series of figures too.
Yeah.
I came across this too.
Oh, that's cool.
Big Little Books.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got an well, it's not mine. It's my wife's. She's got an Aquaman and a Batman from when she was a kid.
Yeah, I've got this was handed down to me from the neighbors that I grew up with, and this is Golden Age, I think, 1946.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a Golden Age Big Little book.
That's cool.
And I found a few other ones like I've got a Spider-Man, Popeye. I've got the Aquaman one.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got like a 1950s Aquaman fan club pin.
Okay.
Like the oversized one.
Mm-hmm.
And the favorite one that I got, my mom bought me when I was a kid, was there's a Fantastic Four Big Little book where they're fighting Dr. Doom.
Oh, that's fun.
Which probably led to why, Dr. Doom was my favorite Marvel villain ever. And I can't wait to see him done in MCU fashion on the big screen.
The right way.
The right way. Not where, Torch welds his costume to him, or the really bad 80s one where Ben was basically a Ninja Turtle covered in rocks. And then when Johnny finally flamed out, all it was them stealing the Fleischer animation from Superman.
Yeah. Which, ironically, the newest Fantastic Four, maybe the Ben Grimm looked a lot like that as well.
Oh my god,
It was awful.
it was so bad. I was going through Amazon, and at the time I was still buying digital copies.
Mm-hmm.
That way, I could watch them on multiple devices.
Sure.
Not thinking that you're not buying the actual movie or TV show, you're just buying the license. And once that license expires, we're going to take all this crap away from you.
Yeah.
But they had like a super sale on the last Fantastic Four movie because it was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, they offered me to, I could add it on for like an extra $1.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, why not? And then I put it on and go,
there's a sucker born every minute.
yeah, really. I'm like,
I've still to this day not watched it.
I would rather have paid $1 for that digital copy than to be one of those chumps that paid $100 for a Doc Hork #1. I'm like, I go, if you think he's, gonna make an appearance in the next, Guardians movie, and if they say he's actually gonna be in it, and you're gonna go crazy for Doc Hork, let me know, because my LCS still has like a couple of long boxes full of Doc Hork comics somewhere.
Really? That's kind of surprising, actually.
Well, I think that they sold like 30 #1s.
Yeah.
During the #1 craze the last time. So
it's crazy how much it's been picking up. I think everybody's speculating all these characters that are,
the spec market kills me. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
Really? I'm like, who was the fool that decided that the previews ordering catalog, the very first time Miles Morales was going to be Spider-Man, was his first appearance?
Yeah.
You idiot. They have to show that in every ordering form.
Mm-hmm.
And better yet, who was the jackass that paid $10,000 for an out-of-date ordering form?
Yeah.
But just in case, I bought a handful. not of that one, but of other ones.
Oh, yeah.
From I do a lot of buying on Comic Book Shopping Network. Mm-hmm. And it was a while though. Well, we got these, a buck or two. I'm like, sure, why not? Mm-hmm. And it's like buying a lottery ticket or going on Facebook and playing in a waffle.
Yeah.
I had to ask what that was again. I go, well, I know what waffles are when I make them at my house. Because, well, we have to say waffle instead of raffle because,
yeah.
Fake book. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I go, that makes sense.
I've had some luck with some waffles before, but it's highs and lows.
Yeah. I got a one that I'd like to get a stand made for after the first of the year is I got a Detective 880.
Okay.
But it was the Mexican like foil edition.
What they call it, the mole variant or something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's the same cover.
Yeah, it's just foil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's foil and it's the Mexican variant, so obviously it's in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I could read it, but I got it triple signed.
Oh, nice.
So and
was it Jock Snyder and somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I would, I'd like to get that one framed. I might actually give that to a buddy of mine down in Texas, but I like, if I'm going to send that, I go, well, I might as well get a frame from it and send it down there.
Yeah.
Then they can plug the frame on their show too.
There you go.
So, real quick, I want to thank our sponsors for tonight's show, Spinwiz Comics and SpinwizComics.com. They are a webcomic and indie comic discovery platform, completely free to download on both Android and iOS, so you could download it and you wouldn't have to upload something special to watch it.
That's a good point.
It's a place where you can read tons of free comics. Probably at this point over 500 free comics. Jonathan Hendrick, the writer for Scout Comics, has his new Kickstarter out, Capable, and you can buy physical copies in a catch-up on his Kickstarter. And if you're not sure if you'd be into the series, you can actually read the first 2 issues for free on Spinwiz Comics. And there's so much stuff on it. And here's just a quick look of what it could look like on your smartphone. Ta-da! I was like, oh, I forgot to do my commercial. Damn. We're also on, the podcast is also now on ageofradio.org. So anybody that's listening to this over on ageofradio.org, please come over to YouTube and search out Creators Outlet so you can actually see some of the really cool geeky products that Nate's been making for slab stands. Of course, you can just go directly to IG and search slab stands, and then you can just see it all right there too.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to, from now until we'll go Sunday, if anybody wants to place an order, see something you like, or have us make a custom piece for you, just mention that you saw it on this YouTube show here, and we'll give you 10% off.
Cool. Mention Creators Outlet from now until Sunday, and you can get 10% off of an order from Slab Stands. That's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's the only way you get to talk to anybody nowadays, anyhow.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's just like being at work.
It's like, yeah, it's just it's one of those things where I get to interview lots of comic book creators, and I go, well, what's better than bringing on geeky products like slab stands and some other things that go perfect with everything that we love and collect.
Yeah, it's
after Christmas, looks like I'm going to have a couple of the guys from Bat and the Sun, Kevin Porter. Mm-hmm. They just finished the new Batman movie. And Kevin Porter plays Batman. You've seen him in a lot of the mashup battle videos they do. He's played Negan. Yep. And Aaron is like the best Joker I've ever seen in my life, and he's playing Joker in this movie. They dropped the movie poster for it today. I messaged Kevin and asking if Aaron and himself would like to come on the podcast for an interview to promote the movie. I don't think it's coming. I think it's coming out next month.
Oh wow! Okay.
They're gonna release it. So get them to come on and promote that. And I know
that'll be fun.
Jeff Lemire was supposed to come on the other month, and his schedule, of course, is wacky because he's got like 32 books a week coming out from 12 different publishers.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah. So hopefully, he said after the first of the year he'll try to come on. So I just get surprised because I'll run across a big name in the comic book industry, and most of these guys are all freelance.
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, hi, I'm so-and-so from this podcast. I'd really love to have you on the show sometime. Sure, when do you want me down? And I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's amazing how approachable, easy to get a hold of some of these guys are.
Yeah, a lot of them, it's like, it's real easy. I'd ask Neil, but I'm afraid I'd have to buy like 2 or 3 like $800 sketches off him for him to come on the show. So
yeah. I've got a huge amount of respect for what he's done in the industry, but he hasn't always been the most approachable person.
Yeah. Well, like I said, last November, I had a great conversation with him for about 45 minutes while he was setting up.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he probably liked talking to me because I was, praising the almighty Neil Adams, but, but I was just, tell him, thank you. I loved your work on X-Men. And of course I'm a huge Batman nerd. So I'm like, I grew up, Neil Adams and Jim Aparo were, household names in my my comic book bunker in the basement when I was a kid. So,
right. I mean, the biggest thing for me that I respect about him and is what he did for Siegel and Schuster. Back in the day, getting them recognition, and I mean, in all reality, they messed it up themselves. They signed it all over, and what DC was doing, there wasn't anything wrong from a legal perspective, but ethically, there's obviously a lot of red flags.
Yeah.
But what he did for getting them eternal recognition is something I think every comic collector needs to know about.
Yeah. Well, there's been quite a few of them, that have chimed in with Neil on that. The yearly auction for Heroes Initiative to help out some creators that are having health issues or what have you, because there's no like big retirement plan when you're a comic book artist. So
right.
It's like guard your money, make wise investments, and don't marry a gold digger.
Pretend you're from the golden age.
Yeah. Be frugal.
Yes.
I'm looking around and go, yeah, my mother was right. I shouldn't have blown all my money like this. And I'm like, but once I've been going through and I've been finding stuff, and I just opened up a box that had a bunch of memories from when I was younger. My mother used to like take us on day trips, in the summertime, because she worked like 2 or 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
But my original elementary school photos were in one of the boxes, like the class photo, like all together. And I'm like, wow. You're just like flashback. Made me feel old, so I put it up on Facebook and then tagged a whole bunch of people that are in some of those pictures.
Yeah, so they can share the joy, right?
Yeah, and then underneath, like, FYI, I didn't want to feel old alone, so welcome to the party.
Yeah.
But
you kept all of your action figures in the boxes, so you might have a little bit of retirement income you're not expecting there.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was showing off earlier. I've got a full run of the Kingdom Come figures, and of course that Dead Man figure is like my favorite.
That's fantastic.
And so I've got those.
Dead Man would make a fantastic HBO show.
Oh yeah, they should. I don't know if they're still. Yes, I am old. Thanks, Pop. Says the guy 20 years my senior, but I know I'm younger than you because I've only got one kid. She's just barely becoming a teenager, and you've got like, I don't know, like 20 grandkids or something. Come on. I'm going to be on this coming weekend. I'm going to be on CromCon 10 with Pops.
Oh, cool.
Friday, they had the kickoff show.
Mm-hmm.
Will be some panels. On the Saturday, I'm going to be there like 12 to 6, co-hosting with them.
Nice.
And there's all kinds of all kinds of different comic creators and, people that have various projects between, movies, audiobooks, just artists that just want to show what they've been doing in this year of
Yeah. I think one of the cool things though that's come out of all this is obviously it's not the same as in-person cons, but a lot of the online events that have happened. There's a friend of mine over on Instagram, Elite Comics, Ali. He's put on two, calls it AtCon, and it's just two big online conventions, and there's been a lot of neat stuff on there. Interviews with artists that Neil Adams was on there talking about Neil again, slinging his portraits and stuff, and a lot of people get on there and run sales, and it's been. So seeing all, and then there's been other people to do it as well, but it's kind of cool. At least the industry keeps rolling, even though we're in the situation that we're in.
Yeah, and this one's in this way. It's even a little better because no Croncud, Concrud. It's spit out.
No lack of deodorant unless you choose to.
Oh God. I was like in my early 20s once too, but not once did I think, well, if I buy a couple of spray cans of Axe, I won't have to shower for a month.
Yeah, no, that's never hit me either.
No, I go, Axe deodorant is not cologne. It is not bath gel. Take a shower and put some deodorant on.
Yes. Please.
It's it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to worry about the smelly 20-somethings and their little brothers. And
they're not all 20-somethings. Come on now.
No. Oh no. There's plenty of 30, 40, and 50-somethings the same way,
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about Concrud. Ugh. Must be getting late. And most importantly, you didn't have to worry about, dishing out $500 to get an autograph in picture with your favorite celebrity.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that whole thing's out of control.
What's your favorite example of that you've run across? Because I've got a fantastic one, but I'll let you go first.
The overpriced celebrities. Yeah. Well, first of all, I always ask, why are people giving their hard-earned money that they really need nowadays to millionaires?
Mm.
And, I understand, they got to get something for their time, but the conventions are paying them to be there.
Yeah.
They're getting a hotel room. They're there for a weekend. And even if they were only charging $30 to $50 a pop, they're still making a crap load of money.
Right. Yeah.
But I also know that the convention actually sets the prices.
Really?
And Rhode Island, you can't just get in line and pay them. You have to go to a booth.
Yeah, get the autograph ticket.
You got to get various tickets, and then you got to go. And with the photographs, if you miss that 90-minute window that they're actually taking the pictures, you're done. There's no refunds.
Oh, that's awful.
I'm and they call it photo ops.
Yeah.
To me, that was the beginning of the end of conventions being fun for me.
Mm.
As soon as they started doing that, they're like, nope. You can't come in with a camera. Phones have to stay in your pocket because we don't want you taking a chance that you might actually take a picture of somebody we're not getting paid for.
Yeah.
So, when I was at the Fairhaven show where Hulk Hogan was, and there were literally tens of thousands of people lined up just to spend a couple of seconds with him.
Mm.
It was $100 for an autograph. It was $100 for a picture.
Wow.
Well, everybody else was in that line, and I was like, "Oh, well, he's here. Maybe I'll meet him." And I'm like, and then I'm listening, and then I'm hearing dudes' girlfriends or wives screech at the price, and then pay it anyhow.
Yeah.
One woman wanted to have me arrested because I called her a dumb biatch, but I go, you sat there and screamed about how much money it was, and then you reached in and grabbed your MasterCard anyhow.
Yeah.
Well, they were doing that. I was sitting outside the room he was in, hanging out with Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Mm.
And so I got a autograph from Greg Valentine. I was talking to a bunch of other wrestlers that were there too, but I got Greg Valentine's autograph. And just before he passed, on the same picture, because the picture that I bought off him was the dog collar match way back in the day between him and Piper.
Oh yeah.
So it's got the dog collars on both and the big long chain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's double signed with Greg Valentine and Roddy Piper, and both autographs in the picture together didn't cost what it would have cost me for like one autograph from the Hulkster.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, I think some of these guys too, though, it's like, especially for Hogan, out of all of his financial woes he's come across, granted, self-inflicted, but it's retirement for a lot of these guys, especially.
Yeah, I know.
But my favorite thing was Lou Ferrigno was coming to our con here, and so I had a sketch cover drawn up of him as the Hulk on his comic, and I was stoked. And I walk up to his table, and I've heard some horror stories before. A lot of people, oh, Lou's great, and other people, Lou's awful. And I loved him on King of Queens too, and that was one of my favorite TV shows ever. And I walked up, and it says photos on the table, signed for $40. Items from home negotiable. And so I just handed it to him, and I started telling him, hey, Mr. Ferrigno, I'm a huge fan, yada yada. And he just looks at the book, and he looks at me, and he says, that'll be $80. I said, I'll take a picture. So I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, charging double for something I brought myself versus.
Oh yeah. I hate that. It's like, well, if you're not going to buy something off me, I'm going to rake you over the coals.
Yeah.
Somewhere I actually have an autograph of Lou's that our friend David got for me. Oh, probably I was like in my early 20s, and he goes, you got to go to the convention? I go, nah, I don't want to pay money to walk in a door just to walk around because I'm broke.
Yeah. And,
he knows I've always been like a big Hulk fan and everything. So he got me like a Lou signature. Back in the day, it was probably like, 15, $20 with the price of the picture. So it's not him as the Hulk. It's, and it's kind of like sun faded because of where I had it hanging up in my old apartment when I was a kid. But it's him as Hercules.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
One of his best roles ever, where he didn't speak. And, it was just, so I've got that around here somewhere. But what made me think was because I've got a bunch of autographed prints. Mm-hmm. And they just happen to be right here.
Oh.
So I figured, and my favorite one is right on top. I'm a huge Wolfman Perez fan. And the 90s Teen Titans was my jam, as they say.
Oh, that's cool.
Where my fingers are, because I'm trying to hold up both.
Yeah.
So this is the cover from the original Baxter #1, and this came right out of George's personal portfolio.
Wow.
And George signed it, and then they mailed it off to Marv, and Marv signed it, so it's double signed.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be going up on my wall. I also have a Bob Layton Demon in the Bottle signed.
Wow.
Because, you know, and these were fairly cheap. I think the double sig cost me $50.
Mm-hmm.
And the single ones were 40.
Yeah.
So basically you're paying for the signature, but you're getting a free print.
Yeah. That's one of the things I do when I go to a con. I always leave with at least one print autographed by somebody who's there. That's it. I don't know. It's a tradition that I make sure I do.
And then I got this Jim Starlin Thanos.
Nice.
And of course,
just like in the movie, Hulk getting his butt whooped.
Yep. Then I bought some sea bass prints from Esteban.
Okay.
And I had to buy this one.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So, you know, and these were all painted, and they scan them in, and
mm-hmm.
and he signs all those prints, and I'm like, well, I gotta have.
Man, what the biggest kick in the Jimmy from 2020 is the Mandalorian ending and then having to wait over a year until the next season.
or worse.
Oh, it's awful.
So you saw the ending then?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Or worse, at the end credits, putting a promo for a Boba Fett show that we have to wait a year to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you would, and I went through all this because you were talking about a print you got done up that looked like Lou that you wanted to get signed and everything. Yeah. But I got this print by Esteban. It was a Hulk print. I go, oh, I love the Hulk. And then I looked at it, and it's like a mashup.
Oh, wow.
But
yeah.
You can see the face. It looks a little bit Louish.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I go, well, that's fantastic. And because I am a Joker fan.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they're still going to come out with a sequel to that movie. I know they said they were going to. But
I'm not sure.
And then, it was fantastic.
This is a Jason Metcalf. And I'm like, it was just like a jam piece he did into a print.
Yeah.
It's Moon Knight and Hawkman just fighting a whole bunch of mummies.
That would be a fantastic crossover.
I'm like, yeah. Like Disney and AT&T are going to come together anytime soon.
Right. Well, if Disney buys AT&T.
Well, it's possible. They tend to. We don't want to compete. If you compete with us, we will just buy you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Those are some cool pieces, man.
But, you know, I had that, and I have Joe Sinat's signature on this. Bob Almond, the inker, used to do he has a thing where he does does fundraising for artists and stuff called the Inkwell Awards, and it's an award just for inkers because he's an inker.
Yeah.
And Joe Sinat being one of the most famous inkers of all time, they used to do the Joe Sinat Inking Challenge. and Joe would judge them. And this one was done by this is all Blue Line, but it's all original Joe Sana artwork.
Yeah.
And then the inkers would do, their version. And this one was done by Rusty Gilligan.
Mm.
And he and Joe both signed it. There's like a fake Joe signature that just kind of like a mimeograph over from the original, and then an actual signature, and then there's actual and certification signatures on the back. So
I'd say another great inker I've got to meet and talk to, and he actually did our first artist series slab stand, was Jay Lyston.
Oh yeah.
But he's fantastic, and he does a lot of the inking old school way, using old pens and things. Like, he doesn't do anything on the computer, and he'd be a cool guy to get on your show and talk to. But
oh yeah, I got a big list of people, and there's some that I'm like always bugging, like Jeff Lemire. I'm still here. I'm not going away.
Rubenstein's very, very approachable. So,
yeah. I was talking to him at the con last year. Who else was I hanging out with? Oh, Bill McKay. I hung out for, on and off for like a good hour, like 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
With Graham Nolan. So, he was pretty sick of me. Tom Mann.
Pretty good.
I got, yeah. Oh yeah. There was a guy that showed up in his version, the original Bane version, like the original Bane costume.
Yeah.
The way that him and Chuck created him. Showed up walking towards his table, and this dude was like 7'4".
Oh wow.
Like, if I stand up out of my chair, I'm 6'1". I used to be 6'2", but after 50, that whole gravity thing. And Graham's not a short guy.
Yeah.
And this guy went like this next to Graham Nolan, and Graham's head came up to like Bane's titty. So
I've got, actually, in my display case back there, I've got I don't know if you can see it or not, my Bane shelf.
Oh yeah, Vengeance. I see the Vengeance of Bane.
Yeah, it's signed by Graham and Chuck, and got a sketch, a little art commission, and a couple statues, and that's my favorite Batman villain. So
that's very cool. I've got mine somewhere. I came across them. I came across like all that stuff, like my volume 1 of Mad Love, Vengeance of Bane 1 and 2, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Just before all this happened to me, and so it's to be rediscovered in the boxes behind me somewhere.
Yeah.
I found my my original run of Marvels, and then I put them back in a box, and now they are buried again on the back row of all those comics.
Yeah.
I found like the two most expensive things I bought brand new for my collection, because I was a nightclub DJ, and by nightclub I mean strip club. So before I met the demon that is my daughter's mother, and I had a kid, I didn't really have anything to spend money on, because how dare I listen to my mother when she said, "Put that money away so you can buy a house and have good credit." Nah.
What do you know, Mom?
I'm gonna buy comics, toys, and go drinking. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But it's buried under over here right now. But I bought the Joker marionette.
Oh, okay.
From way back, and then because I spent so much money on that, there was no way I could afford to order and pay for the Harley Quinn to go with it. But I'm like, who cares? I got Joker, and I've had it for a long time, and it's still like super cool.
That is cool.
It was like, $250 brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the special Jim Lee Hush Batman figure.
Oh yeah.
The big long box one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a copy of the original mold.
Yes.
And then there's the test shoot one, and then the final product. And they're all tagged with what they are in the box.
That's a great piece.
There's a small certificate of authenticity in there, signed by Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a pencil sketch that he did of Batman. He probably drew the same thing like 5,000 times.
Yeah.
And then signed it. So I've got a signed Jim Lee sketch.
Right, which nowadays he'd probably charge $600 for something like that.
Yeah, and I've got that whole thing, and I opened it up and showed it on one of the unboxings, and it wasn't until then I never really looked hard at it because I figured I go, well, they're never gonna make a Batman Hush action figure this detailed. Lo and behold, after I said goodbye to my $500, 6 weeks later, an entire series of Hush figures started deploying into the toy market at $20 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh. So until I reopened that one here, and I mean, that thing that came out like in the middle of the Hush run.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty friggin' old now, and this is the first time I've opened it since I pretty much originally got it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the first time that I actually noticed that, oh, I actually have a real Jim Lee sketch with an autograph on it.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this piece is probably worth a crap ton of money right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to sell it because I would really like to have some money, but I don't want to sell it because then I won't have it anymore and I could never afford to buy it again.
Right. Yeah.
Pull me in all these different directions, but it's still cool. But I've got a Jim Lee pop, the Joker pop. So it's not like the regular size one that you make the stand for. It's in the slightly wider size.
Yeah.
But it's like the panoramic version.
Thing. Yeah.
So it's it's Joker like crouching down with the gun with pop coming out of it, and
mm-hmm.
A friend of mine that's a GameStop manager. Every time one of their stores closes down, he goes in and buys out like a lot of their clearance.
Oh yeah.
Like little odds and ends, like little figures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he donates them to a friend of his who is autistic and raises money for autism through Autism Speaks. So he donates them to this guy, and then this guy puts them up for sale at his booth, but super cheap. Some things are like $1, $2. If there's any like high end ones, they're like maybe $5.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually you can have this for a donation of this.
Mm.
And they make various like the macaroni like keychains and shapes of superheroes and villains and stuff like that.
That's fun.
And it's all for a good cause, so it's pretty cool. So I got the Jim Lee Joker pop from that, and then there was like another joke. I bought like 3 Joker things off him. I bought like a macaroni Joker. I bought the pop, and I bought like this other one. They had a line called 8-bit. So they made them like they made all these characters, but they made them like an 8
Yeah.
8-bit graphic form.
And they lit up, right?
And they lit up. I didn't know they lit up.
Yeah.
And I was showing my daughter, I go, look, I can put batteries in and Joker will light up. She's like, Dad, please. We all know you're not going to open the package. I'm like, true enough.
Right there.
I'm like, I go, well, maybe if no, if you buy another one, it'll just go next to this one and you won't open either package. I'm like, okay, daughter of mine, thank you so much.
What you're saying is if somebody gets you a gift of a figure, open it and then give it to you so you can play with it.
I actually did. I was talking, there was a group of 5 of us. My friend that I grew up across the street from is a few years older than me. I ended up becoming good friends with a bunch of his friends, and they knew me just as the little redheaded kid across the street. Now I don't have any of that red hair, so lucky you. My daughter asked me, goes, Dad, what happened to your red hair? I go, oh, your mother. But they remember me, and we reconnected over social media, and they're all like, comic nerds. One of our other friends sadly passed away the other year. He was a big Captain America fan, and he made his own Cap costumes, and he used to go out dressed up as Cap, and he would appear in like his local towns, all their parades, and he would go around, he would go out and buy a whole bunch of like the little mini flags, and he'd keep them in all the different pockets of the MCU Captain America costume, and he would hand them out to like all the little kids to, get the picture taken. And he actually came down and did a thing for one of the events at my LCS. And when I was in rehab after I came out of the coma, he actually came not in costume, but he brought the shield.
Oh, wow.
With him. And not too long after that, he passed away from complications from the flu, which at this point could have been early COVID, but
yeah,
his wife and himself his wife actually still owns it. They had a brick and mortar called POW Science, because Eric used to teach science, and he would go and do science displays and experiments with all like the local elementary and middle school. And he actually showed up to one of my cousins is a 4th grade teacher in Rhode Island in Newport by the naval base, and he showed up there, and she's shooting me texts during the day. Hey, do you know this guy? And I'm like, oh yeah.
Matter of fact,
so it was, there was a whole bunch of us, and I ended up going into the coma and everything that happened to me. And then my other friend, Mark, who had shaved his head and dressed up as like a life-size Kingpin, because he's a big dude. He had like a severe heart attack, stroke. And just prior to that, he had bought, about a year or so prior to that, he had bought like a huge collection. This woman's husband, who was a big collector, passed away, and she had like 2 or 3 like long boxes out on the table. And he goes, well, how much do you want for all of it? How much do you want for all the comics? Oh, there's a lot more. Would you like to see them? Sure.
Yes, I would.
And he made it, he made a, not a lowball offer, made her a good offer. She accepted, and he went to the bank, got the money, and, bought it. And one of the first shop boxes he opened was multiple copies of the Wolverine miniseries 1 through 4.
Oh, wow.
And the last time Stan came around to Rhode Island, Mark got in line with a few key Marvel books that he got signed from Stan. He took like the best copy of Wolverine #1 from the miniseries and got that signed. And an old. I think the first appearance of Black Panther and Fantastic Four,
Mm.
and an older Spider-Man too. So
Yeah.
I mean, we stick together. But I was talking to one of our friends in that little clique, and how I really really liked the Punisher run where he stole the War Machine armor.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about that a week and a half later. I have back here somewhere. I'm fishing in the dark. Be prepared. I actually opened this and I was playing with it.
That's cool.
He went on eBay, bought the Punisher War Machine figure, and sent it to me. I did like a live unboxing, and at which point him and everybody else on the stream was like, "Wow, dude, you're really bad at this." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." He was, "Is it because you've never done one of these before?" I go, "Well, it's more so that I haven't opened an action figure since I was like 12." so but I got one of those clear acrylic stands coming in around the waist with the extender on it, so I can put him like in a little flight thing. And once my new desk is set up, he'll be on the desk guarding my camera. But
yeah,
so maybe I'll get one of my favorite covers from that Punisher run and get it graded, because since I already opened that, then I can get one of the action figure stands. And I think I cried myself to sleep for a week after I opened it. But
I even put one time I made a frame for a buddy of mine who he's got the first appearance of Green Goblin. It was an ASM 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the Eagle Moss little busts of Goblin.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Spidey. And so anyway, he wanted a shelf attached to the bottom of the frame. So he's got the picture, he's got the book in the frame, and then there's a shelf attached. So he's got the two busts flanking it on either side, and it turned out really cool. So
that's sweet.
The options are unlimited.
Yeah. The Eagle Moss stuff is great, because every once in a while they'll just like do like a blowout sale. They had a blowout sale on, like, not on all of them, but like on a good amount of the DC ones the other week, where they normally like rip you like $20 for one of those little lead figures, and they knocked them down. Some of them were like $3.95, and others were just like $5 straight. Yeah. And they're like, some larger ones were like $10, and I'm like, somewhere in this mess, I have all the pewter figures from Eagle Moss that make up the Batman Heroes and Villains chess set.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And I had most of the figures for the Justice League one, and then all this happened. So I'm like, well, when I find the Justice League ones, I can just start selling those I'll sell them for like a couple bucks a piece.
Yeah.
Take the whole lot, $30. There you go. All done. Clear stuff out. But yeah, that's a good idea too. Like getting having a shelf attachment. So you can, put stuff like that, like the mini statues and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it turned out pretty nice.
Not as nice as that, Fantastic Four piece with that, $800 Stan the Man figure, but
well,
I think they actually made that in like a regular they made like a regular action figure of that too. But of course, not as good as the Hot Toys one.
Yeah. Well, they did a Funko Pop of him in that suit as well, if I remember right.
Well, Funko Pop will make anything.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, what do they release? Like they just announced like, oh well, this by the end of this month we will have 5,000 brand new ones on the market. Oh great, thanks.
Yeah.
And there's people that collect these things like crazy. I'm just waiting for Funkos to crash like Beanie Babies did. So some of the ones that I would actually like to have,
yeah,
I can get.
I think the thing though that keeps them going is that Beanie Babies didn't have is the nostalgia factor. You know, like part of the thing that I kind of Beanie Babies has fallen into that now. Like there's a slight resurgence of that Beanie Baby market because it is nostalgia for a lot of people who bought them brand new back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think they'll be around for a while. But.
Yeah, because they're new stuff is always coming out for pop culture, so they'll never be at a lack of making anything. So
yeah.
Well, I want to thank you once again for coming on in. Want to wish you and your family happy holidays, and
you too, man.
Stay safe and all that stuff. And we will talk to you soon. And I will probably be contacting you after the first of the year and putting in an order for a couple more stands.
That'd be great, man. And don't forget all your viewers. At the end of the week, if they want to mention the show, get 10% off. So.
Yeah, I'll put something up for that on Outright Geekery, and I'll add that onto the show notes.
That'd be great
for this, and I will pop the audio version over to Age of Radio later on tonight, and I'll put that on your. I'll share that over onto your page.
Great, that'd be awesome.
So people can download this as well.
Okay.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on, and have a great holiday. I'll talk to you soon.
See you. Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas.